regular monthly meeting of the Rockwood City Council to order. This time I'd ask that we stand for the prayer by Mr. Ishman and remain standing and pledge to the flag. Mr. Ishman.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for keeping us safe and for your blessings upon the city. And we thank you for these councilmen and the mayor that are serving the city and lead the city. We ask you, Lord, to give them direction in the way that things need to be done. We ask you to watch over us and thank you for the opportunity to live here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call roll, Madam Secretary.
Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Bryant.
Here.
Councilman Fuller.
Here.
Councilman Holloway.
Here.
Councilman Jolly.
Here.
Councilman True.
Here.
Mayor Miller.
Here, all present. We do have a quorum. Then you received the minutes from the June 22nd, 2020. Is there any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilman Jolly to be approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Holloway. Councilman Jolly.
No.
Councilman Holloway.
No.
Anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the ayes have it. Next item is presentation and approval of financials, June 2020 financial reports and bank info. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman True. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Fuller. Councilman True.
Yield the floor to Ms. Ruby.
Ms. Rupi.
You have a copy of the bank statement information in your packet and a copy of all the bank statements. The general fund as of June 30th, 2020 had a balance of $626,065.17. Reserve and emergency had $169,379.07. TBA Foundation Fund, $16,136.54. Payroll Fund, $63,986.53. Drug Fund, $39,375.53. State Street Aid, $78,819.64. Small Drug Fund, $807.54. Special Revenue Fund, which is our grants, had $74,501.72. Capital Projects, we've spent that down to $38,021.80. Capital Investments at Raymond James, $261,279.14. And you also have the statements. On your summary financial statement at the end of June, it shows that we have taken in 90.8% of our revenue for the year, but we still stay 2 months behind on state sales tax and a month behind on local options. So as I've done in the years past, at the end of July or whenever we get those funds in, I will provide you with a new report that shows you how we closed the year. The expenditure should be correct. We had spent 87.7% of what we had budgeted. So if our revenues come in quite a bit stronger than they have, we probably will have maybe up to 10% savings just in money that we collected that we did not spend. You also have a copy of all the checks that were written for the month of June. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Anything further, Councilman True?
Nothing.
Councilman Fuller?
No, sir.
Anyone? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item, we always like to open the floor to anyone that'd like to address the mayor and council. All that we ask is that you just stand where you are, state your name and address. This will be the last time you'll be allowed to address the mayor and council unless a council member yields the floor to you. Anyone? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take my mask off.
All right.
Okay, I'm Marcia Berry, and I am here on behalf of our community and our city pool. I started out water aerobics this year. I didn't get to go last year, but this year. And when I got there, I was surprised, amazed, disappointed in the condition of the pool. It's bad. It's cracked. The floor of the pool is cracked and rough. They're not able to use the diving board. Probably you all have been there to see this, right? So you know the condition. Okay. I realize it's a lot of money, but what I want you to realize is it's a need. It isn't just for fun, but it's a need. I'm speaking for part of my team here, my aerobic team. We're over the age of 65. Don't admit it, but okay. But it's amazing what we can do in the water and we're able to do that we can't do on land. And that's great, but that's also therapy. It's fun, but it's therapy. For a lot of us, and there are more, there's actually 26 of us. Some of us have a hard time even walking to the car. But when we're in the water, it's great. And we need that. But the kids need it too. It's not just fun. Everyone in the world, no matter what age, need to know how to swim. And most of our children don't. And the pool is the one place that doesn't require a uniform, doesn't require any gear. They can come to the pool and they can be part of something, thanks to Cassandra, who's done a great job and did a great job trying to raise money to make repairs last year. But that's not something that just one person can do. Spaghetti suppers and things like that, we need more. And she did her best, and she raised some. But what we have to think about it is it's a need, and it's something that needs to be maintained, like, I know we got a new fire truck. And that's great, that's a need in our community. But we had to come up with the funds for that. You know, and the pool's been there for 30 years. If you gotta borrow money to build another one that'll last 30 years, I think it's worth it. Our children, the kids that get the most need are the kids that need it the most. They can walk to the pool. They don't have to have an adult that cares enough about them to take them. They can just walk on their own. And they're safe because we have good lifeguards. We have people that are there to be with them. And if they want to learn to swim, that's there. They've got to learn to swim. That's life-saving. And if someone's coming into our community and they have children and they're thinking, okay, what's this community got for our kids? We have a perfectly maintained baseball field, but you got to be part of a team. We have a football team, a football field, but you got to be part of a team. And I know that's not the city that maintains that, but still, it's kept. It's maintained, whether there's anybody on it or not. But the pool, all you got to do is come and jump in. But it's not safe. I mean, to get on the diving board, they can't even use the diving board. Just take a trip up there and look. But it has to be done because it's important. You can't move to a community where there's nothing for the children. So, I want you to think about it whenever it's budget time. I want you to think of it more of a need and not just a fun place. That's all our children have, is the pool. And I've been with several of you at different times, and we've been raising money for causes that we feel like are important. And one thing that I've always been very proud that I've heard Mr. Mayor say is, come on, dig a little deeper. It's for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Pam May, I'm with the Run Alliance. I appreciate you guys letting me speak for a moment. I hope all of you got copies of the 2019 annual report. But I brought a few more things tonight of things that we've been doing, our work plan for this fiscal year, as well as a new outdoor guide. I will leave some extra copies of that annual report too in case someone didn't receive a copy. But each year I do a return on investment chart for each city, and this year I did a little different. I'm going to give you guys a copy of that as well. But it shows kind of what we spent on marketing and what those efforts kind of separated between each city, what we spent directly would have directed for each city. And Rockwood basically is right there in there with Kingston and Harriman. We spent close to $24,000 directly on marketing for different things that was either here, events that were here, or marketing to promote Rockwood. So I just wanted you guys to have that information, and I'll leave you copies, but just appreciate you, and if there's anything else we can help with, you just let us know. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Appreciate you coming. Thank you for all you do, too.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to speak about the safety issues which I am concerned about some things that could come up here, because apparently there's been, as you all know, there's been a lot of protests per se that were going on in some of the big cities. We've had in small cities in Idaho. I've seen some videos where cities small, actually smaller than our city, had a busload of anarchists show up in Idaho, and it had, if it hadn't been for the local citizenry, they would have burned down the town. So I'd like to mention that I would suggest that the city council, get some ideas together, make sure that everybody's on the same page on how to handle it, because it's a very real situation where we have a perfectly good idea to be overtaken by the communists. Communists have been around a long time, as you all know, when this country's had to deal with them overseas. Well, guess what? They're very active here now. So please take the time to research what you can. You're kind of limited on what you can get on Google right now because of the censorship, but do your best. There are other social research engines that you can use other than Google. And your grandkids will know exactly how to operate and what they are. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
John Dennis, Miller Street. Thank you for the time. Before I start, is there a meeting tomorrow night for the school board about starting school or something?
Yes.
At the Harriman High School?
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Are you still on the school board?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me start with the second verse. Let music swell the breeze and ring from all the trees, sweet freedom song. Let mortal tongues awake, let all that breathe partake, let rocks their silence break, the sound prolong. And what is that song? It's a song of freedom. Freedom. This is kind of a wake-up call, but as we see the news, and a lot of the news we don't see, our country is under siege right now. Our country, it was founded by our fathers for religious freedom and protection of rights and property and life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. It is being overcome. It seems like they're starting in the bigger cities, but one of the smaller cities. we see a football, or a baseball football team that's kneeling to a Black Lives Matter sign. And I don't have anything against Black Lives Matter. But I do have something against a little gal that got shot in the face and killed when she said, well, all lives matter. That was the wrong thing to say to a violent group that's destroying our country. And you know, I kind of asked, who's the daddy? That used to be a saying back when I was young, who's the daddy? I think we need to try to find out who's the daddy and you know, see what we can do here. There's just, you know, we've had zero tolerance for bullying in our schools and stuff. No bullying, and bullies were punished, but bullying is happening to our whole country right now. We're being bullied, folks. We're being, I'm not getting upset about it. Let me calm down a bit. But we're under attack, okay. Our religious freedom's under attack. You know, all lives do matter. Black lives do matter. All lives matter. But you know, our history is being destroyed. Our statues are being destroyed. You know, his history. The great Martin Luther King Jr. He taught about the peaceable protest. But history is being destroyed, and people are being paid off, and our country is getting is under siege and being burned up and broke down. Also, a couple of things I want to bring up real quick is I'd like to ask our mayor if he would want somebody, since I only have one copy of this, to make copies for the Children's Health Defense. That's a website, Children's Health Defense, if anybody wants to write it down. It's a debate for about an hour long that our dear, I think he's a senator, but Robert Kennedy Jr., the great President John Kennedy, I was in fifth grade or sixth grade when he took the bullet to the head. His brother Robert Kennedy took the bullet to the head, I believe. His son, President John Kennedy's son, was flying with his wife out over the coast of Massachusetts, and his plane mysteriously went down. Robert Kennedy seems to be the last of the Kennedys, but in this debate he had with Alan Dershowitz, it just came out yesterday on the internet, and it's about Alan Dershowitz is the United States constitutional attorney. It was a great debate. It was the way debates should be. It was very peaceable and loving and understanding of each other. I encourage everybody to read this or to look at this debate. And in this debate, you'll learn how dear Robert Kennedy loves our children and is out to protect our children as well as adults too, regarding this COVID and the immunization, or not immunizations, the vaccinations are coming out, and it's very educational. This COVID virus is something that, you know, it's being used as an attack, part of an attack from the inside out, and we're being attacked from the outside in, the inside out. But the children's this Imprimis, there's also an article in the Imprimis magazine from Hillsdale College. It's on here, hillsdale.edu. There's a fabulous lady, the author of an article. It's called 4 Months of Unprecedented Government Malfeasance. Folks, look up that word malfeasance. And a lot of our government officials have stood aside in these big cities and let havoc take place, okay? And we don't want it coming here. We don't want it coming here. So please, I'll leave this with the mayor and ask that he see that somebody make copies and you all get a chance to see what's coming down the pipe. And I love the Kennedys. You know, they're a great family. For some of us live long enough to know them. But anyhow, thank you.
Thank you.
emergency article. There's on the back, clean it out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I want to recognize, we got a group here, the Rome County Youth Leadership Academy. Will y'all please stand? We are glad to have you here and thanks for coming. I know it was probably mandatory they made you, but still, we're glad to have you. Thank you. Committee reports. Do we have any tonight? Anyone? No new business, old business. Move on to new business. Ordinance 1269, ordinance to establish an updated occupational safety and health program plan, devise rules and regs, and to provide for a safety director and of such program plan. This has to be renewed every 7 years. You've got it, a copy of it. We'll name the fire chief and the building inspector as co-safety directors, and this will add water and REU back in the city's plan. It is something we have to have. As y'all got a copy of it, and we're able to go through it. And it's got employee complaint procedure, bookkeeping, record keeping and reporting. All those are included in it, but it is something we have to have. What's the will of the council? Got a motion by Councilman Holloway, it be approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Anderson. Councilman Holloway.
You covered it all, Mayor.
Councilman Anderson.
Nothing.
Anyone? Call the roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2021, a resolution authorizing insurance of general obligation refunding bonds for the city of Rockwood. What this is that we had in a pool and TML, we had a $565,000 total of 2 loans in that pool. Bank of America handled it. We were the only one left out of, how big was the pool, Scott? 20-something million?
I think it was 300 million.
300 million, we were the only ones left in it, so they decided not to refund it, so we have to refund it. We got with Scott, and I'm gonna let him explain to you what we've done on this.
So you have a resolution in front of you tonight. I got a call from Becky about 3 weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, saying, got this email from the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund saying that they're not going to renew our letter of credit with Bank of America. And that was the actual case. As the mayor said, they had a huge pool. You and several other people had been in that pool, but all the other loans had been paid off. And so Bank of America was down to the $500,000 approximately of debt left in that pool, and they just didn't want to fool with it, so they told the TNBL that they were not going to renew the letter of credit, which is their right under the documents. And as a result, since you're the only one left, you're going to have to find a replacement or pay the loan in full. You have until September 25th to come up with the funds. And so I reached out to multiple institutions, your local banks here, and the regional banks we deal with, the SunTrust, the BB&Ts, the Regions banks, and then several of the local smaller banks around the area. We sent out a proposal. We got some proposals back. I've been negotiating with multiple banks for several days, and included Becky in some of those conversations. Anyway, we came up with the proposal, and y'all also got one from the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund. They offered to help do something since it's part of their program and it was not renewed. So the TNBF submitted a proposal, and like I said, I got 3 or 4 other proposals in. The rate that the TNBF proposed was 2+% on both loans. We ended up finding a local institution here that's willing to do it for 1.45%. And so that rate would be fixed. It would be locked in. There's only about 5 years left on it, and that loan's going to be prepayable at any time. So anytime, if y'all get to the end of this budget year or into next year or whatever, and want to prepay that loan, you can do that. So I think I've set it up to solve the current situation, which is we need to do something before September 25th, so we don't have much time. And two, you got a pretty good fixed rate there. We kept the costs as low as possible. And so the proposal I handed out in front of you tonight actually lays out, if you adopt the resolution tonight, it's in front of you. I put the final numbers in here since we do have a bank loan. I know exactly what the rate's going to be. I do show a savings in there versus TMBL, but that would, if you approve the resolution tonight, we'll give notice tomorrow morning to the TMBL and Bank of America that we're going to pay in full instead of September 25th. We're just going to pay on August 25th, which is the next payment date. And then this rate would be locked in on the 25th, and you would be in good shape, and we'll take care of this problem. So that should solve all your issues with the bond fund and the variable rate loan. The city will have no more variable rate debt after this. It'll all be fixed. And just as a heads up, I will be back next spring. You have some water sewer debt that we can maybe refinance next year. So that's out there. It's still 9-10 months away, but just want to give you a heads up. So, but tonight's issue is the variable rate loan. It's not much in the scheme of things, $558,000 or so, $56,000. But we have to do something before September 25th. And so I think this is your best option.
And it will be a savings of about $6,200.
$6,000 versus what the TMBF proposed. So, I had multiple banks come in with better rates than TMBF, and this is the one that got you the best rate, the lowest rate, and make sure it's prepayable at any time, so you can pay it off early too if you wanted to.
You've heard Scott. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Fuller. Councilman Holloway.
Scott, appreciate you working on this for us, for that information first come out. Kind of scared me a little bit, but I was part of it when we got the loan to start with. And then thank God we're going through this full amount here. It was kind of scary, and then you help us get a good rate, and we're saving $6,000 from it's a win-win.
Thank you. Yeah, y'all been paying on that loan, y'all had it since like 1999, so I mean, you've made 20 years payments, it's like 4 or 5 years left, 5 years left. And so, I mean, you made a huge, it goes all the way back to, I think, the Walmart, and the road improvements, and all that out there, but this should take care of it going forward. Appreciate the church trusting us, and us too.
Councilman Fuller.
Yeah, when I first started, I think they were paying this for a long time, and now they've only just say, oh, that's too deal. But you did a great job in that. The rate sounds great, nice fixed rate, pay it off anytime you want. Seems very reasonable to me.
Anyone else? Scott, again, I appreciate you putting in time and effort, and I like the rate, and I really like that it's fixed, so we don't have any more variable money out there, so we know where we stand. Anything further? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Did y'all bring in for me? Did they bring in for me to ride?
They did.
Well, I'm really good on them in the lake, I think.
Very important.
All right, resolution 2022, they have asked us to defer this. Do I have a motion we defer it? So moved. Motion by Councilman Jolly. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bryant. No comment on motion to defer. Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Resolution 2023, resolution closing the city's Raymond James account and proving to move remaining funds to capital projects within the general fund. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman True. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Anderson. Councilman True, do you want to yield to Ms. Ruppy?
Yes, please.
I'll yield to Ms. Kreitzer.
We
Okay.
can draw much better interest by moving it to the capital projects account that's at Simply Bank. And that way it will also make it more easily to get to, because we plan on using that for paving another capital project, so I recommended we move it. I think Raymond James has it in treasury bills, and it's just not drawing a lot of interest.
Anything else, Councilman True? Councilman Anderson? Anyone? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Resolution 2024, resolution concerning unopened, undeveloped portion of an alley off of Tate Street. You've got that resolution in front of you. This is basically what we've been doing. Any unopened alleys or streets that people that live next to them would like to have, we're able to get them back on the tax roll. They are able to, they pay for everything to get it done, and then again, we get it back on the tax roll. You'll see that, and this is the alley located off Tate Street. What's the will of the council? So moved. Motion by Councilman Jolly. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman True. Councilman Jolly?
I think you covered it well.
Councilman True? Mr. Ishman, is everything okay on this one? Okay. We will get that to Mr. Leffy, get it took care of, make sure. We are making sure we get all these on the tax roll, correct?
Yes, we recorded the
All righty. Anyone else? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Resolution 2025, a resolution authorizing the city attorney to file suit against House Homes LLC and all other parties having interest in real estate at 207 West Dunn, Rockwood. That is another house that we have had problems with. We're wanting to take it to court so we can condemn and get torn down. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Bryant. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Fuller. Councilman Bryant?
Yes, I'm forward to getting these houses tore down and getting them closed out and cleaning up our town.
Councilman Fuller?
So just another one on Mr. Eastman's list, and it's time to pursue it.
Anyone else? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2026, a resolution authorizing the city attorney to file suit against Virgil Wayne Young and all other parties that have interest in real estate at 227 East Nelson Street in Rockwood. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman True. Do we have a second?
second.
Second by Councilman Jolly. Councilman True.
Nothing.
Councilman Jolly.
Just been nice to see another one cleaned up, with the rest of them done.
Anyone else? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. I'd like to say we're going to have another presentation like we did last year. I think we're up to close to 140 or 145 houses that we have got cleaned up, made our town look better. So I think Ms. Rupi and Mr. Ishman are getting together to have another presentation. The one that we talked about earlier over on Wilder Street will be completed tomorrow. I'm talking about the grass sowed. The next one will be the last house on Front Street before you get to Planet Inc. We'll be able to start that, Mr. Ishman, August the 10th. Yeah, the judge has already approved it, so we can clean that one up. Next item is Resolution 2027, a resolution updating the solid waste policies and procedures for the city of Rockwood. As you know, I appointed a committee about, I guess, 2 months ago to deal with all the brush pickup we're having. It's just absolutely taking all of our time. So Rick, our street guy, and the committee came up with some recommendations, and I'll yield to Councilman Holloway or Councilman Bryant to go over what they want to about this and what we're changing.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, the committee consists of myself, Rick, Mr. Bryant, and Becky Ruby. And so if you see the resolution there, I think you got time to look over it. Anybody want any changes in it, they can call and let us know. But we do have a lot of problems with brush, and a lot of problems with people throwing out old furniture. And this is going to help take care of some of those problems and get some money back from the people just didn't throw stuff out there when they paid it up free. So it's going to kind of put a stop to that. But I know some of the places in town, last week I drove around up to some of it, and people's got to have it now. They got brush piles all over Rockwood. And they're taking the furniture and putting it on top of that. So they need to know to separate that out. So when the crew goes down there, they don't have to stand there and take time to separate it. So we're going to get the word out to everybody and let them know how to put the brush out, what size, how close to the road to put it, and about picking up the old furniture. But I support this resolution, and I will recommend that we pass this.
When does this go in effect?
Vicki, what you got?
We're already doing some of the brush pickup with people that's doing extreme amounts right now, but this schedule is for next year. Gives everybody plenty of time to know we're gonna have 2 weeks of spring cleanup instead of 1.
And we're gonna split it up. One on
East
this
side.
side of town and one on this side of town.
Yes.
Correct?
And then we're gonna have 4 weeks a year that's free for brush. 2 weeks in the spring and 2 weeks in the fall that are free. And then all the other times, if it's something that they're just deciding to clean up in between, there'll be a charge for that. And of course, if there was a storm or something, that would be different. But we think this will be a good policy.
And what we need to understand is that we can't get all our other work done for these guys having to pick up brush I guess you could keep 2 crews busy every day, couldn't you? And we just can't get everything else done. We've got to make some changes, and we're giving them more opportunity of free weeks and things. So I think this is a good plan, and I appreciate the committee's work. What's the will of the council? Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bryant. Councilman Holloway, you have anything further?
No.
Councilman Bryant,
I'm ready. Yeah, I echo what he said.
any comments or questions?
I just have a
Councilman
question.
Jolly.
Will this be posted on our website that passes?
We're gonna put it on the website tomorrow, and we'll put it on our bulletin boards and all that, and we'll always use our sign. And I've talked to Ms. Ramsey from Water, and we're gonna start putting it about once a month in the water bills. So we can pay a little extra for her to print it on the water bills. So we've got from now till spring cleanup in April to keep getting the word out. So surely, there'll still be somebody else say I didn't know, but we'll do our best.
We're going to hand out flyers too, as we go around and get stuff, we'll hand out flyers, stuff like that,
But thank everybody for working on this, I appreciate that.
Anything further? Call her over.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2028, a resolution authorizing the City of Rockwood to participate in Public Entity Partners, Safety Partners Matching Grant Program. A lot of partners. This is a grant that we try to fill out every time that we can. This will go towards Public Works for safety equipment and signage. What is it, Ms. Ruby, how much?
You spend $5,000 and they give you $2,500 back. And we normally spend somewhere in that neighborhood anyway for safety things every year. But by doing this resolution, we'll get to turn in our receipts and they'll reimburse us $2,500.
What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Jolly. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Fuller. Councilman Jolly?
No.
Councilman Fuller?
No.
Free money, guys. Call roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2029, a resolution approving to apply for an airport grant to update the airport layout plan for Rockwood Airport. And what this is you have to have this plan if you apply for any money. And the way our airport's going now, it's moving so well. We're doing really, really well. May even break even at the airport, which is unheard of, and we're doing so good out there. But we have to have this plan, and it's $200,000, but the federal government puts, what, 180, and the state matches it with 10, and we match it with 10. But we have to have this plan. We have, right now, every hangar we have out there is full. When we took it back over, we had 3 empty ones. Now we have every one of them full, and we have 23 on the waiting list wanting a hangar. So we're moving well out there, and I'd just like to see us approve this so we can apply for this grant. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Jolly, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Councilman Jolly.
You covered.
Councilman Anderson. Anyone? Call the roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is Resolution 2030, a resolution appointing Mike Reed to fill the unexpired term of Elizabeth Willis on the Park and Recreation Board for a term of July 28, 2020 through 7/1/2021. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Jolly. Councilman Holloway.
Yeah, Mike Reed's been around for a long time there. He couldn't find anybody else any better to put on that board, so I highly recommend you put him on.
Councilman Jolly.
I'm excited to see his name on there, his will and serve.
Anyone else? Call the roll.
Councilman Anderson?
Yes.
Councilman Bryant?
Yes.
Councilman Fuller?
Yes.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes.
Councilman Jolly?
Yes.
Councilman True?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is comments. Councilman Bryant, you have anything tonight? Councilman True?
Nothing.
Councilman Fuller?
No, sir.
Councilman Holloway?
Slow down right there.
Well, let me sit down here, man.
Go ahead and say. Now, we've been talking about cleanup, and we're talking about cleaning up our town, tearing these houses down, and clean up brush and all that stuff. The other thing along that same line is we have a code enforcement person that's checking these codes going around here. A lot of houses we have, people not mow their yards, sometimes not mow them all year long. We've got some junk cars sitting around all over Rockwood again. So I'd like to see a report, just put in our package each month, what's being done on the code enforcement, and start working, toward that again to help get other parts of Rockwood cleaned up. It's all around both sides of town. It's just not one place, you'll see everything, all that, so grass growing, weeds growing, trash sitting in yards. Not just another cleanup thing, like I said.
Anything else? Councilman Anderson?
No.
Councilman Jolly?
I'd just like to say I'm glad to see everybody that's came out and stood up for something they believe in. And I think if there's any way we can help them, I think we should. That's all I have.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out. We appreciate it. Again, I want to recognize the Rome County Youth Leadership Academy. Thank y'all for coming. We appreciate it. Glad you're here. I know you're just tickled to death to be here. I want to thank this group, even though y'all were late, you were probably in the pool somewhere.
Yes.
They laid out and y'all were working. So we do appreciate y'all coming, and we will. I'm not going to promise you that we're going to build a swimming pool, because if I tried to promise you that, I'd be lying to you. But I promise you that we will look at it again. I promise you that. So we'll take a look at it. Code enforcement, I'll get with Ms. Rupi, and we'll make sure that we try to start getting a report. I know she's leaving a lot of letters, and you know the time frame. You gotta leave the letter, and then you gotta wait so many days, and by the time you do that, it's about waist high. So, you know, it takes some time and effort. Again, I want to thank all our department heads for the time and effort that they put in. I want them to thank all their employees. They do a tremendous job. They work extremely hard. They made our city look a lot better, and this whole operation wouldn't work without these employees. So we do appreciate them. Oh yeah, Pam, thank you so much for coming, bringing that report. We appreciate what you've done for our community. Anything else need to come before the mayor and council? Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Hallway, we have a second? Second by Councilman Brown. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and of course it'd be none.
All right, we'll get this Harriman City Council July the 7th, 2020 started. Before we get started, we'll have a pledge and followed by we'll have a word of prayer by our city manager, Kelvin Helms, followed by the pledge release of the flag. Kevin?
Prayer complete. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful this day. Father, we're thankful for the opportunity each one of us to gather together today, that we may discuss the business of the city, that we may try and make decisions that will benefit the citizens of the city of Harriman, and that you will be with each one of us as we contemplate those things that come before us. We pray, Father, at this time that you would be with our nation and with the whole world, with our own county in particular, that we are suffering through at this time. We pray, Father, that you will show us the guidance to the end of this, that we may move past this pandemic and return to our normal walks of life. And all these things we ask in your Son's name. Amen. United States of America, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alicia Harris.
You're muted.
Alicia.
Yes, yes.
Buddy Holly. Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Here.
Sam Russell. Lonnie Wright.
On the phone.
All right,
I'll make a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2020 meeting.
Yes.
Motion by Councilman Johnson. Second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Wright. Councilman Johnson, you have anything?
No, sir.
Councilman Wright,
No, sir.
floor is open for discussion. Call the roll.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yeah.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. Motion to pay the salaries.
Motion.
Councilman Meade. Second.
Second.
Second. Second by Councilwoman Harris. Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Harris.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wright. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Wright.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alicia Harris.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. We don't have any delegation we're gonna hear from tonight, do we? Are we gonna do that workshop or?
Yeah, we had.
Okay. reports we're not gonna do tonight. Kevin, you have a report from the city manager?
I didn't put anything together because of the situation this evening.
We'll go right into new business. First, I discuss and possibly approve resolution R07220-01 to participate in the Public Entity Partners Employee Safety Grant. Kevin, will you tell them what that is, kind of?
Yes, this is something we typically do on an annual basis. It's a grant that is provided by our insurer, Public Entity Partners, which used to be the TML Risk Management Pool. And what they will do is provide 50% funding towards equipment that enhances the safety of employees and reduces the chance of a workers' compensation claim.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Wright. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Wright.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alicia Harris,
Yes.
Kenny Johnson,
Yes.
Kenny Lee,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve emergency communication agreement. That agreement, as you have in your paperwork, total is $91,903.60 a year. Motion to approve. That's for 911.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Harris,
Second.
second by Councilman Meade. Councilwoman Harris.
No, sir.
Councilman Meade.
I'm glad to see it didn't go up this year. We've been asking for that for quite a while, so that's all I have.
Okay. Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alicia Harris,
Yes.
Kenny Johnson,
Yes.
Kenny Lee,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve low bid for construction of home grant, location 1. As you all have in your packet, location 1. I just looked at that. Accurate contracting services. Two's a little bit right. And it is on the property on Old Rolling Street. Motion to approve.
I make a motion we approve the low bid accurate contractor services.
Motion by Councilman Meade, second by Councilman Johnson. Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Alicia Harris,
Yes.
Yes.
Kenny Lee,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Motion carries. Last item on the agenda, discuss and possibly approve acceptance of quote to replace sidewalks near El Cantorito Restaurant. This just got put on the agenda. I just seen it today, but as you all, I don't know if y'all been on that end of town, but they started moving and construction up there yesterday to build the new restaurant. In doing that, they've got to replace those sidewalks down through there, which are considered city sidewalks. So they put a bid in, or a quote in, to go ahead and do that work while they're in there replacing that restaurant. You all should have in your packet a quote on that, which was, you got that paper? The material cost, which I think that Mr. Helms said the city would buy the materials, so we wouldn't have to pay the material cost. and we'd save a little money on that. The labor cost is $9,820 to replace those sidewalks. And that's with Southeast Contractors.
I make a motion, we move forward with it.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second. Do we have a second? Motion fails for lack of a second. That is,
Hey, Wayne,
yes, sir.
I was on mute and I was trying to second that.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Meade. Councilman Johnson?
No, sir.
Councilman Meade?
Do we know if the work is going to wait until they actually start the restaurant? Is that what it's for?
Yes, the demolition could occur throughout the process, but as far as putting the sidewalks back, they would do that at the end of the project. The reason why we tried to work with this particular contractor is they are the one that is building the new restaurant. And so as far as them being on site, coordinating the work and getting everything finished up, it seemed easier to structure it in that manner, having them already on the site, doing the work, and everything that they do, we've explained to them would have to meet the ADA requirements, so that if we ever did any additional work on either end of this section, we could just tie right into it and continue on in either direction.
Okay, thank you.
Floor is open for discussion. Any further discussion?
I just wanted to say the reason why I didn't second right off the bat is my question was this contractor as well, but Kevin explained why we're using them, so I'm fine.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Lisa Harris,
Yes.
Ken Johnson,
Yes.
Henry Meade,
Yes.
Ronnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. That's a big swing. At this time, I hear from council. If you have any comments, Councilwoman Harris.
No, sir.
Okay. Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
Councilman Wright.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Okay. I had a bunch, but we'll wait till the next meeting before I bring up everything I want to talk about. Maybe we can be back together at that time. That's all we have on the agenda. We do have a workshop to listen to a couple different people when we get started. One is talking about some power issues, some things that we want to do maybe to save some money in that direction. The other is talking about a plant that is looking at coming into Harriman, and to make sure that the council is in full support of the direction. So at this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn the council meeting.
I make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Wright, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. I can't hear you, Kenyon. This meeting is adjourned.
Bunch more Fast Talk. Fast Talk was presented by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. By Mako. Visit Mako.com to book your minor collision repair today. Better get Mako. And by Auto Trader. Auto Trader is the only one with price confidence from Kelley Blue Book. Auto Trader. Finally, it's easy. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Good evening. It's now time for the Brother Charlie